Hello and welcome back to Selenium tutorial. Today I would like to demonstrate continuous integration of Git and Jenkins. Let's discuss why continuous integration. In earlier software release, it was broken into linear and sequential phases where each phase depend on the deliveries of the previous phase. So this means that after the release of the software, you get to know that this release is broken. But in configuration, in continuous integration, it is a practice where developers make a change, commit it, and check their code regularly, which is automated with the help of open source software. In continuous testing, it automates the testing process. Moreover, overcoming many CI/CD challenge, it consists of integration, acceptance, functional, and code testing. So, with the help of continuous integration, developers are not only enabled to work in parallel, but also uh, build process is automated with the help of continuous integration and continuous delivery. And continuous testing helps to overcome any CI/CD challenge as well. So what are the steps for continuous integration? So first of all, you have Git repository on a central or remote location so that every developer can participate or check in or commit their code in Git repository. Uh, how the code is become the part of the central repository when developer commit the code, uh, he or she will push the code in the central repository, and then we need to use the build tool to build the code resides in the central repository. For this, we also use configuration integration tool Jenkins. So we will see that how we can integrate all these tools together. So we will discuss each of the tool one by one. First, I would like to start with Git. Git is a DevOps tool used for source code management. It is a free and open source version control system used to handle small and very large scale projects. Git is also used to track changes in the source code, enabling multiple developers to work together in linear development. There are some Git commands. If someone would like to create Git repository, we can use Git init command. If there are changes or would like to add code, we can use add command, commit command to commit the code. And we for parallel development, we create a branch from master, and then this branch is merged with the master. We have sync repositories command, like as I have mentioned earlier, that if some developer would like to push the code from his machine to central repository, then push command is used. Um, and then he will create pull request so that after reviewing the code, branch code will be merged with the master branch. So for this purpose, pull request is created. So let's talk about Jenkins. Jenkins is an open source automation server. It helps automate the parts of software development related to building, testing, and deploying, facilitating continuous integration and continuous delivery. Jenkins is a very big topic, but in order to see Jenkins and Git integration, here is a diagram. Like if developers have code or write code in their machine and commit and push the code or check in the code, uh, the code will become the part of the GitHub. Uh, if he is working in branch, then it will push in the branch, but if it is in master, then it will be pushed in master branch, then Jenkins will trigger build, and this build is deployed in production server in and then all the case test cases which are part of the current build will execute on the server, and then uh, results will be published later on. So that's about the Jenkins architecture diagram. So let's proceed with demonstration. I would like to open my uh, project. Last time we see this project in which we have validate login test case, but in this uh, test script, I didn't validate that if the user is login successfully or not. The code is actually calling the methods which is part of the login page. Uh, and for this purpose, we have created the login page object, and with the help of object, we are calling the methods of the login page. But now I would like to, since the test name is validate login test, so we need to create we need to validate that if user is successfully logging in the application or not. So for this purpose, we need to write a method for validate login test, and for this purpose, I need to add the success message. Let me show you that how I need to test this one. So I need to log in, and then I need to validate this login successfully message, right? So we already have this login successfully message web element identified, and let me write find by, and we have identified with the help of XPath, and I already have find the XPath of this. Let me copy paste it. So this is the web element of success message, and then what we need to do, we need to basically validate. So I need to create a new method, public void validate login successfully message. So it's string success message text actual equals to this dot success message dot get text, and our expected success message text expected is login successfully. I believe I have, okay, that's why it's highlighting. Okay, so we have the actual text and expected text. So we need to assert dot assert equal. Uh, so what we need to assert? We need to assert that expected text is equal to actual text, right? Okay, and now I need to call this method from here, login page dot validate login successful message text. Now this validate login test is now complete. Before that, we only have called these methods, to execute our code, but now we are validating this login successfully. Okay, let's build this and verify if it runs fine or not, right? So build is successful. Let me run, validate login test. So I am waiting that since once our test will get passed. So our valid login test is passed now. You can see the result here. And now I have made some changes in this code, right? And now I would like to commit this code. So I will use this git command to commit and uh, edit assertion for success message. Let me show the details. So I am looking into warnings. Okay, that's fine. Hello and welcome back. Last time we had some issues while we have after adding this validate login successful message. So I have overcome all those issues, and now I would like to show you that if I will commit these changes, this is my GitHub project in which I don't have this validate login successful message here. So what I will do, I will commit this change in my project and then see that this will be part of my uh, GitHub repository as well. So let me commit and push. Okay, so since I already have commit these changes, let me push all those changes. So I have pushed my local repository changes into the master trunk of my Git project. So let's update this. So you see that the changes which I have made in my local repository are now part of uh, the Git project. So let's proceed with Jenkins. Okay, I have to run Jenkins server again. So Jenkins server is started now. I have just refreshed. By the way, this Jenkins uh, logo is very interesting. Uh, it is ready to serve.
For practice purpose, I have created test GitHub for a very basic project. But since we are, so I decided we have to work with the project which in which we are working. So I have created another work item or project in Jenkins. Okay, let's see that how we can do that, how we can create project in Jenkins. So you actually name the project and you have options. You can create freestyle project, pipeline, and some other. But I have created this freestyle project, and let's see how I have configured it. So I have click on configure, and then I will demonstrate that what uh, settings I did in here. So in GitHub project section, I have placed the Git URL. Okay, I have copy this Git URL from my repository. So here is code, and this is the URL which I have just copied from here and then paste it here in under GitHub project section. In source code management, I selected Git, and then I have placed the same repository URL here. In build section, okay, you can see here, I since I am working in master, so by default it picked master. You can set any branch here as well. Okay, and what about this build triggers? In build triggers option, I have selected GitHub hook trigger for Git SCM pooling. What does it mean? Whenever any changes done in the local repository and push to GitHub, this job will trigger and create a new build. Uh, okay, but for this purpose, we need to provide a webhook in our Git repository. But for this, we need public or static URL. Uh, since we don't have any static URL, so let me show you that where we can uh, define this URL. So in here in settings, uh, okay, I need to back in my project. Actually, sometimes we forgot where this setting actually resides. So for this particular project in settings, there is a webhook. Okay, so we need to add this webhook URL. What it will do whenever any changes comes in GitHub, it will trigger this job and ask uh, or create a build and deploy it on the target location. But since we don't have any public URL, so I will demonstrate it by creating a build manually. Okay, in build step, I have defined maven home. It's my environment variable which I have created in my application, and the goal is clean test. Okay, so now let's see that how we can create build. You can see here I already have created a build. Let me show you that after creating a build, it is showing me that this build is created on 10 June. So and the revision and the repository, it is mentioning that from where it actually took the code. And in console output, I am actually copying and will show that where it has created the build basically. So this is my project, GitHub integration. This is my another project, and last time I created build at 8:43 p.m. It's 10 June, right? Now I will create another build in GitHub. So I have to click on this build now button. My build is now in progress. So now build is created, and you can see the latest timestamp it has put here. Now you can see that edit assertion for success message. This is the same message which we have added when while we were uh, committing our code, and it is showing the commit and the details, the revision number and the repository from where it has created the build. In console output, if you will go, you can see here that it has build here at this location, and the most important thing is the build status, which is successful. So let's see that if uh, okay, now you can see that with new timestamp it has created the build, uh, and it also have uh, cloned the code which I have created there. So let me show you the same code is copied in our. So here we have this validate login successfully message, and ideally it should so it has, this is the compiled code of the changes which I have made. So uh, this is all from my demonstration. If you have any question, you can ask me. Thank you very much for watching.